Welcome to the Business Collective podcast with Terry Fletcher. Weekly conversations and insights on how to go from employee to consultant in any business field where your years of expertise can be showcased. Take your career to the next level, entrepreneurship. Now here's your host, nationally recognized healthcare consultant, speaker, and author, Terry Fletcher.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Collective podcast. My name is Terry Fletcher. So today I'm actually going to switch gears when I'm talking to the entrepreneur because I think a lot of entrepreneurs miss something very important when it comes to attracting clients. And one of the things I found, and that is the value of SEO. What is that? That is search engine optimization. You already know that having a prominent online presence supported by an effective SEO strategy can be indispensable to any business. What that means is that people are searching for your business, and you need to make sure they can find you online. The internet, however, is a virtually endless resource with millions of search inquiries leading customers to all kinds of different places. I search myself, Terry Fletcher, and it's amazing what comes up. I do come up first because I've been very diligent in my SEO, and I have really done the research when it comes to Google statistics because that showed me really the value. And also I listened to some very smart people. Actually, my podcast producer, Joe Kuzma, has really kind of showed me a lot of information when it comes to how to really strengthen your presence on the internet. And in doing that, how did you strengthen your search engine optimization? So more often than not, an online experience is with a web search, okay? How do you make sure people searching for companies and services like yours land on your website and not somebody else's? So one thing you can be certain is that you'll need to make a case to prove that the value of SEO to be able to direct any of your company's resources or client resources to sites, audits, content marketing, technical optimization, all of that. And a lot of that is very technical and I don't get involved in that. But what I have looked at, and some of it's pretty simple, is what Google is doing for search engine algorithms, and they continuously do. And how do you convince your boss or your client that it's worth it to really figure out an SEO strategy? If you're working for yourself, that's what this podcast is about, people say, well, Google's not really that important. Are you kidding? Being on Google's good side and making it to the front page can impact your business tremendously. And what about other search engines? What is the value of being searchable? Do you show up online? So you have to make a case for this because there are some facts out there, and just doing organic research, just to search to see what happens and trying to figure out how quickly things are found. You want to really kind of search this out yourself, figure out what you're thinking as far as how you want to be found and what's the first thing that you want to pop up. So here's something that I did some research on, and I thought this was very interesting. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in 2013, Google went down. So global internet traffic dropped by a 40% margin. So does the internet really revolve around Google? Apparently. So Google services were unavailable for only 5 minutes due to an outage in web traffic. But Google is at the heart and soul of every internet search. How important is your presence in Google web traffic? Very. So there are more than 2.3 million Google searches conducted with each minute. And it's funny because I even joke about it in a lot of my webinar presentations and discussions and conference presentations where I'm in the healthcare field and I tell people, did you get on Dr. Google today? Because now it's not just a name place and name recognition, but it's commonplace to look up anything on Google. Somebody says something to you and you're like, that doesn't sound right. So you Google it. That's what we call it, Google it. And have you Googled today? So here's something that happened. So I Googled the appropriate temperature to bake a turkey. When Google connected me with 438,000 results in under 8 seconds, the first result was more than satisfactory. But with over 3.5 billion searches conducted a day, and actually Google put that on their website, the odds are you've probably Googled something. It might have been that very search that maybe, led you to my podcast. But remember, Google's only been around since 1995. And back then, they were just conducting about maybe 500,000 searches a day. But today, this statistic has more than quadrupled, and it's continually growing. So you have to be aware of that. 16 to 20% of all Google searches are first-time queries. Did you know that? How does Google answer questions that have never been asked before? Through extensive indexing, site crawling, and millions of search precedents. Never before asked queries are actually more common than you think, especially during the pandemic. So marketers should think about how to fashion their content strategy so that they find the right balance between targeting ultra-competitive, established keywords, as well as the less popular queries that are on the rise. And so you want to look at trends and really do some research on this. Top 5 search results on Google get 70% of the clicks. Does anyone ever go to the second page? Turns out that your position within a search and that search result is very important because, again, that first 5 search result receives the most clicks. I've noticed my traffic, and I can actually pinpoint it on my website, is all of a sudden I will get, because I have services on my website, I'll start getting service payments and purchases for things I have on my website, and it goes in spurts. And I'm like, okay, so I've got some people searching for things today. Also, here's something. 1 in 6 people on the planet use Google. Oh boy. A big chunk of the world is what we call Googling away. So with 2 trillion searches conducted on the planet every year, there's really no denying that Google is the world's most popular and most powerful search engine giant that's out there. And what are people using to search? Not necessarily their computers. They're using their cell phones, smartphones. And so this came under a consumer's local search behavior report I was reading. And it said 88% of smartphone performed searches. And they need mobile-friendly websites. I was searching out something recently on a site that I actually do a podcast for, and on my phone it was terrible. So I was just like, I can't see it. I can't find things. And it's like, oh yeah, you have to go to the computer to find it. When people get frustrated when they go to your website and can't find something on their phone, they'll go to the next website. So you need to optimize your local search into what will be appropriate for a smartphone. 18% of mobile searches lead to sales on the same day. So that's actually a Google statistic that they put out there. And so it says that 18% of those searches will lead to a sale that same day. In contrast, only 7% of non-local searches will. So capturing that local search market and potential customers and clients, that would be important, and otherwise you have to lure them to you. So just a couple of tips basically to let you know that there are some stats out there that show you the value of that search engine optimization and what words, what hashtags, what things do you want in your search mode. One of the things I've learned is searching for somebody is easier to find on a blog or an article than it is just to find on you remember a picture doesn't have search to it. So if you're more about photos and videos, people aren't necessarily finding you unless you're more about blogs, written material. So you have to have balance on both. Also, for any of the entrepreneurs listening that do not have a dedicated website, you need a website. You absolutely need a website. That's how people find you. That's how you can market yourself. That's how they can know about you. You have an about page. That's how they can find things to purchase digitally or tangibly. Okay, so that's how they can listen to your podcast. So you want to make sure that you have that, and that will help you capture your search market by optimizing your content and your website. Okay, that's it for me this week. We were a little bit short on content, but hopefully powerful enough to get you thinking. Everyone, make it a great day and a great rest of your week, and thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast. Drop us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website and blog at www.business-collective.com.